Hello guys, and welcome back to Nat for Island Living. Today I'm going to share with you my keto peanut vegetable beef soup recipe. Here is a list of ingredients that we will need, starting with the vegetables. 1 stalk of celery, and 1 stalk of celery will provide us with approximately 1.4 grams of carbs. 1 small chocho or chayote, and 1 cup of chocho will provide us with 6 grams of carbs. 4 ounces of mushroom, and 1 ounce of mushroom will provide us with 0.6 grams of carbs. So 4 ounces will be 2.4 grams of carbs. 1 small jicama. 100 grams is equivalent to a little less than a quarter pound. So quarter pounds or 100 grams of jicama will give us 4 grams of carbs. Jicama has a slightly sweet, nutty flavor and has a crunchy texture. Eating it will remind us of eating yellow yam. I'm also going to be using 1 medium-sized turnip, and 1 medium-sized turnip will provide us with 8 grams of carbs. In Jamaica, and perhaps in other countries too, Saturday is famous for soup. Saturday is soup day. And we're used to drinking our gungo pea soup or red pea soup, pumpkin soup, all of those soups, bursting with flavor. And we shouldn't have to give up that tradition. Well, this soup will keep us right on track with that burst of flavor. I will be using 3 cloves of garlic, and 1 clove of garlic provides us with 0.9 grams of carbs, which means that from my 3 cloves of garlic, I will be getting 2.7 grams of carbs. I'm also going to add a medium-sized onion to my soup. Of course, you could also choose to use just half this amount of onion, because 1 medium-sized onion will give us 9 grams of carbs. I'm also going to use about 2 stalks of spring onion or escallion, which will give me about 1.5 grams of carbs. For those of you who don't mind, you can substitute your spring onions for onions. That way you'll be cutting out a whole 9 grams of carbs from your soup. I absolutely love both spring onions and normal onions, and so I'll be keeping both in my soup. Also guys, supposing you can't get your hands on any of the vegetables that I already listed, it is perfectly fine to go ahead and use any other low carb vegetables that you have available and that you love. For example, you can use a cup of butternut squash, which will give you 15 grams of carbs, or you can use a cup of broccoli, which will provide you with about 6 grams of carbs. And because this is peanut soup, I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of peanuts, raw peanuts, and this will give me 7 grams of carbs. And of course guys, the type of meat that you use in your soup is going to be totally up to you. I have chosen to use a pound of beef brisket, and I have already seasoned and allowed it to marinate in my seasonings of choice. Of course, depending on the meat that you're using, you're going to sprinkle on and marinate in different seasonings or spices. Here is a list of the spices and herbs that we'll be using in this soup. We will need a teaspoon of thyme, which will give us about 0.9 grams of carbs. And a must for many Jamaican dishes, we will be using a teaspoon of pimento berry, or what is also known as allspice corn. And I don't know how many grams of carbs this will give us because I was unable to find that information on the internet. A teaspoon of black pepper will give us less than 1 gram of carbs. A pinch of salt will also give us less than 1 gram of carbs. You can choose to use a habanero pepper or a dash of habanero pepper sauce, and this is optional of course, but it should give us also less than 1 gram of carbs. 1/4 teaspoon of cumin should provide us with about 2 grams of carbs. Read the label on the packet for your soup base and try to use a soup base that provides very little carbs. This soup base will provide me with 3 grams of carbs. 1 cube of bouillon will provide me with 1 gram of carbs. I will be using a tablespoon of this vegetable broth and it will provide me with 2 grams of carbs. And to up the peanutty flavor, I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons of this all-natural, no sugar peanut butter, and that will provide me with 3.5 grams of carbs. And now it's time to get cooking. Heat 2 tablespoons of cooking oil in a large soup pot. Add the meat and saute for about 8 to 10 minutes. Add the onions and saute for an additional 2 minutes. Now add the rest of vegetables and spices in stages. There are 4 servings of soup in this pot, and each serving of soup will give us approximately 12 grams of carbs. There you have it, guys, another burst of flavor keto meal. Don't take my word for it, try it at home. Keep exploring and having all sorts of adventures in your kitchen. And if you enjoyed my video, please remember to give me a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel. Share the video with your friends. We are waiting to see you here again, right here on Nat 4 Islands Living. So until next time, walk good.